Mr. Fitz here, hope you're going well. This is video 4 of our OnShape series for our CO2 Dragster design. This video is just basically an extension video that's going to show you some more advanced features and assemblies. Please make sure that you go through the first 3 first. Alright, what we're going to do with our design is we're going to actually create an assembly of our work, so we can add our wheels in and make our thing look really cool. In order to do that though, I've actually created some of these files for you already, so you don't have to go out and create these on your own. What I get you to do is on the OnShape screen, go to public. Now you'll find in here a whole world of cool models of all kinds of things. But what we're going to do is search for my model. So if you type in CO2 fits in the search bar here, press enter, you'll find this file here, CO2 fits. Now inside here you're going to find a range of different models. This was a CO2 Dragster design I created. It's got some wings on there. There's some model here with some back wheels, the axles and the front wheel. Now what you should be able to do in your OnShape is somewhere up here on yours there should be a copy or duplicate file. Now mine's a little bit different because I own this model, but when you search for a public document you should be able to find a way in here to copy the document, and that should copy itself into your OnShape account. So basically we'll just duplicate mine. So then you can go back into OnShape, and if you go to owned by me, it should create a duplicate of the CO2 fit file. Cool, now I'm going to get you guys to go back to your CO2 Dragster file. So mine is here. This was the one that I've been working on for these designs. Now, inside your tabs at the bottom here, your part studio is always a studio is essentially your modeling environment for a part. This one's called part 1 in my design. You can actually come into the model here, right click and go rename. We'll call this one CO2 Dragster. If you wish, it's nice to name your parts. It makes it a bit easier when you're inserting them in assemblies. But what you will have in every single OnShape file is an assembly environment here, so assembly 1. And this environment here allows you to bring in parts and join them together and create an assembly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to insert. Now, under insert current documents, this one's already open, so I'm going to put my CO2 Dragster in the middle. Then I'm going to also go to other documents. Now, if you have already opened your CO2 Dragster, you should be able to find it in there. But you can also find standard content, bolts and screws and things in there. This here you can find your CO2 file. Where are we? Sorry, other documents owned by me. And here you should find the duplicate that you've just created, CO2 fits. Some changes, okay, create a version. Not sure what's going on here. This is because I've just created a copy of it. Just ignore this particular version. This is just because this is my file, not the one you've copied. So under Part Studios should show you the parts that are in that file you've copied. So start by putting in the axles. So if you click on axle, you should be able to chuck these in. Now just dump these in the file. So you want to click 2 axles, back wheels, you can click 2 of these, and you want 2 front wheels as well. It doesn't matter that they're not orientated, we're going to go and do that one later. So just dump those ones into the assembly, and then click on the tick to confirm it. So in the assembly environment, what you're going to find is that everything you put in here, you can click and drag on it. If you do click on an item, you'll find that this little triad pops up. This enables you to reposition. So if you grab an arrow direction, you can move it in a direction. If you grab the end of an arrow, you can actually rotate the object as well. So you can turn this for whatever angle you want. That's pretty useful because it often helps just to roughly orientate your models to how they're going to go in. And as you can find, you can just click them and drag them where you want. What we need to do in assembly though is not just place things where we want them to be. We're actually going to put inside what's called some constraints. So it's going to actually build together how you want it. First thing we should do is you'll find that everything's just floating in space. What I'm going to do is actually right click my body and just go fix. At least this here is sit stationary, and I'm going to assemble to it. Now for these particular parts, here are a range of different constraints we can apply. I like to keep it pretty simple, and I'm going to use what's called a cylindrical mate. This is used for applying cylindrical faces, so a cylinder, for example. So we'll start with the axles. I'm going to put an axle between those two faces, and click on the tick for that one. I'm going to put this axle on it into the axle hole. Click on the tick. It doesn't matter if you grab the inside or one of these ones, they're all going to have the same axis. So these wheels here, I'm just going to go there and onto the axle. Yep. That onto that axle as well. Yep. And I'll just go the outside of the wheel onto there. That's good enough. Click on the tick. And then let's just grab that one, that cylinder, and chuck it onto that axle as well. Click on the tick. So now all of those shapes should be sitting on the axle, and the axle should be sitting in the axle wheels. What I can now do is just, you'll find that they'll move along the axis, so you can shuffle the axle along, chuck this wheel on. So you'll notice that these wheels actually have, one side's got a little bit of a standoff, so it sits away from the body. So that one there is actually around the wrong way. So I can actually go to cylindrical. Should I find the constraint? Might be the third one. Yeah, that one. If I edit this constraint and I'm going to flick it, flip the primary axis, that'll actually rotate that one round the other way and sit on there. So for our purpose of this design, all we really need to do is just drag these to where we want them. Doesn't really matter to get these perfectly dimensioned. Not sure that's moved out for some reason. As you can see here, this is literally how we'll assemble this thing in real life. So axles are pushed through, the wheels are pushed onto there. We'll probably get some hot glue and stick that on the end. And that's it. That is your CO2 Dragster. You should be able to come into the part here, as I showed you earlier, and where is it? Change the colors of things in here somewhere. Configuration. There's usually a spot in here that I can change the colors of my parts. You might have to go into your individual parts and change the colors if you need to. The other things you can do here is put on some, you play around with the shading and the rendering of it. So if you click on that little shape there, you can find that you can change the colors of your models. So you can make it sort of semi-transparent. That looks pretty cool looking view. You can see the detail inside it. What I suggest you do for your folio is when you get up to this stage, do a few screenshots to include into your folio so you can print those ones out. You might want to do some shaded versions, some wireframe or hidden edges. Shaded, there we go. And you can also change this one here to have, where are we? Section view. It's pretty cool. You can choose a face to do a section view on, and you can drag that through and you can see the inside of your part. It's pretty wild. and it was translucent. So quite a few settings there. You can get some screen grabs, get a good look at your model. The perspective's pretty cool as well. Turn that on, you can see it looks kind of a bit more like a cartoon. Good for doing some screenshots. Pretty wild. Cool. That's basically it. It's really the main thing in this video is just showing you how to do assemblies, how to play around with some of your settings and your shading so you can get some nice screenshots. So a nice little simulation of your design. Cool. Best of luck.